Don't worry, I don't have COVID.
It's Corona time.
But I have always abhorred resurrections. And I think a lot of people can agree with me on this one. So I want to ask you the question, what do you hate about, resurrections in books and movies? Specifically your favorite books, your favorite movies, what do you hate about them? And, the reason why I ask is because I don't, this channel, I don't want it to be just me screaming into your face. Basically, I don't want to make this channel revolve around me. I want to cultivate a sort of, an audience that wants to discuss what I'm passionate about. That way I can, get more value by, hearing your ideas, your opinions, and learn from you. But then at the same time, share my opinions so that maybe I can offer you some value, right? I have always hated resurrections until I read A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. And the character I'm referring to here specifically is Lady Stoneheart. I would agree that you're really not someone who's fond of cheating. And authors are cheaters. Authors cheat with tropes. Authors cheat with common BS tropes and never really bother to come up with good solutions to complex problems. The ones that do are great, and thank God for those. One of them is George R. R. Martin, right? But a lot of them just do not seem to, veer or drive or sail away from just, basically trends and tropes and cheap things that are very common in basically every book. And one of those common things is resurrections. But you see, I really value your time and the fact that you are here. So I will explain to you in detail why it is that I hate resurrections and why it is that I specifically used to hate them until I read A Song of Ice and Fire, specifically how George R. R. Martin wrote Lady Stoneheart. And the biggest problem with resurrections is the one I have just mentioned moments ago, which is that they are just cheating. Let's say if you're writing a book, your goal for that book is to generate conflict. It is to make the audience invested. It is to make the audience tense. It is to make the audience, fear for outcomes that could happen, right? Or at least be excited for difficult outcomes that could happen, right? But there's a lot of obstacles on the way to achieve those difficult tasks. And the audience is along for the journey. And in that particular sense, what resurrections are is most of the time authors just killing off the characters that you have grown fond of so that they can make you cry, so that they can make you, experience emotions, or maybe just for a marketing gimmick, like for instance, when they killed Superman. And that is when I think it is really cheap. But in this particular video, we are actually talking about how George R. R. Martin takes this problem, chokes it, and really fixes it, right? How does George R. R. Martin fix this particular problem, this particular trend? And the way he does it is quite simple, because you see, the thing is, solutions to these problems are not difficult. Solutions are there. And George R. R. Martin is one of those people who actually tends to do this particular solution I will talk to you about basically instinctively. All of his stories, all of his characters, all of his events, everything revolves around this particular trend with George R. R. Martin. And the trend is everything costs something. Nothing is cheap. Everything in his stories costs you something. In that particular sense, what cheap resurrections do when you are trying to trick the audience and you're just being an eye-hole, it is that the particular trend that you have just established is going to bite you back in the future. Because the biggest problem with resurrections is that they take away tension. So, for instance, let's say your characters are going into battle and they will fight the big bad dude at the end, okay? And this is a very, very huge battle. And two of your characters die. Now cut to the next book or the next, season or whatever. And then you just bring back your characters through some magical artifact or some BS. And this is the problem, because it means that this particular season or this particular book or this particular, following movie, I'm actually not going to be as worried for the lives of the characters as I was last time. And so your characters and your story loses a lot of tension. The way George fixes this with Ressurection is that he has, and this is very crucial, he has everything cost something. And so for instance, when Caitlin Stark comes back from the dead, she's really not back, because this is not Caitlin Stark. Okay, if someone will ever come back from the dead in George R. R. Martin stories, they're going to be a up zombie. And that is what Lady Stoneheart is. She is fueled by rage, fury, anger, and she wants vengeance. She doesn't want to have a good afternoon, or she doesn't want to have peace. She wants war, and she wants blood, and she is not who she was. And this means Catelyn Stark is actually dead. Catelyn Stark never came back. By the way, spoilers. I'm an asshole, I'm sorry. But yeah, Catelyn Stark never actually comes back from the dead. What comes back is a zombie. It is one of those movies where you see, oh, your friend has just come back from the dead, but now they're a zombie, so you have to just kill them, right? And it is not it's not Catelyn Stark, Lady Catelyn Stark. She is gone. She is dead. She has never returned. What is back is a figment. It is the anger of, Catelyn Stark. And that, I think, is still super, super weird and super engaging. Why? Because you see, when they bring back the characters, we are no longer interested in the story because we know you're just going to get back Superman, unscathed, and he can now run into battle against Steppenwolf. Like, for instance, in Justice League, right? Superman dies in Batman v Superman. He comes back in the Justice League, and guess what? He is unscathed. He's as handsome as ever, and he's not a zombie. And there is some little battle, but it doesn't really matter because that's just for show. Basically, what this is going to be is just Superman who completely came back, and now he's going to fight Steppenwolf, and for some odd reason we're supposed to feel tension. No, we don't care. I didn't feel anything. In fact, I was quite bored as I was watching the entire movie. And so compare this with Lady Stoneheart. When someone dies, for instance, I'm 100% certain we're not going to get that dude back completely the way he was, right? And you know the dude, I don't want to make any more spoilers, but he's not going to be back the way he was for Winds of Winter. The rules for George R. R. Martin are clear. When you do resurrections, you do not do cheap resurrections, you do costly resurrections. And so if someone goes and bites the dust, then they're not going to be really back. They're not going to be as nice as ever. And I think George R. R. Martin said this one time, 2 times, where he said the following. That, in some ways, is me talking to Tolkien. Yeah, if someone comes back from being dead, especially if they suffer a violent traumatic death, they're not going to come back as nice as ever, Martin said. That's what I was trying to do, and I'm still trying to do with Lady Stoneheart character. And this is the solution to the resurrection. This is the solution actually to almost every problem in storytelling that people tend to hate. You cannot be giving stuff for free, because when you do that, you take away tension from your story. George R. R. Martin is really smart in this particular way. And the reason why I say he's smart in this particular way is because, you see, it is not supposed to be complicated. It's not supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be hard. It's quite obvious. A lot of people are basically willing to just look at the solution and then go with the path of least resistance when they write their stories, and they just bring back their characters exactly the way they were. It is a difficult decision to kill off your characters. It is a difficult decision to bring back your characters as zombies, and they are now dead, and they're no longer here, but what we have is a reminder that they are dead. And so it is really difficult decision, and a lot of people are not willing to do that, and I really appreciate the fact that George is willing to do this, right? And so yeah, that's where I'm going to end this particular video. I hope that you enjoyed, and hey, don't forget, this is a discussion. What do you hate about resurrections in your favorite books and movies and TV shows? And share with me your particular opinions down in the comments. I will check each and last one of your opinions and your comments, and I will respond to all of them to the best of my capacity. Have a nice day, and good luck.